Flow Mishkaram and Flow Misthay, welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara, all relations. Let's get started today. Today we're talking all about how to handle any retrograde, okay? Mars retrograde, Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde, which is going on currently. The first thing to understand is that any retrograde is your initiation. As a mystic, as a shaman, as somebody who is a light worker on this planet, understand that a retrograde isn't here to ruin you. It's there to upgrade you. It's there to reveal to you the blocks, what is going wrong, so that you can fix them, work on them, become better, evolve, okay? So think of it like a sacred rewind. Old karmic patterns and, lesson, forgotten truths, they all bubble up to the surface so that you can deal with them. So don't repeat your mistakes, right? Action without awareness equals repeated mistakes. Retrogrades slow you down so that you can speed back up. I'm not looking at this from an astrological point of view. I'm looking at this through a neo-shamanic lens, a peak performance shaman lens. So feel the energy, don't force the energy. If something isn't working, don't force it, flow around it. Every retrograde carries with it a theme. So Mercury is communication. So a slowing down of communication. What does that mean? Maybe your technology stops working, okay? Maybe you get weird blocks in your communication with others and people misunderstand you when you're communicating with them. Right? For Venus, it's love, which is actually, for me, this Venus retrograde has been fantastic, okay? Maybe because I'm in the early stages of my relationship, but still, it feels good, man. I feel the love. I really feel the love. One thing that my girlfriend told me is that we are beyond our zodiacs. We are beyond our astrology. We can choose to transcend it through our own will. And I think that's very powerful. That's a very high self-esteem thought, okay? A very powerful thought, that we are the ones ultimately in control of the patterns of our destiny. Yes, there's going to be things that move us, astrologically in the planetary energies and like magnetism and so forth, but we can actually use our consciousness to decide and move it along as we prefer. So instead of pushing through like nothing's happening, sit and listen, okay? Sit and listen. What is this trying to show me? If it's a Mars retrograde, I gotta work on my own drive, right? So I know that. I'm building it. I'm Super Saiyan charging it. Audit your thoughts, audit your behaviors, and your different connections in your life. We are going to come up with a cord-cutting protocol for Primal Sutra Adept. So if you are interested, make sure you join the Mystery School, primalsutramysteryschool.com, spiritualmasterychallenge.com. So retrogrades, oftentimes it brings back the past. So it's like a good sign that if your ex didn't return back to you this current Venus retrograde, that means that you learned your lessons. It's a good sign. If things are going well for you, it's a very good sign of your mental and emotional resilience. If you stay grounded, if you stay centered within yourself, you don't get scattered away from your mission, you will be okay. You will be on the correct timeline. The more stable your nervous system, the less chaotic this retrograde will feel. This is why having a good mental health also sets up for you a great spiritual team. We'll talk about this at the end of this video, how to use spirit guides or deities to make this process of retrograde smoother and better. Because what if during the time when the entire world is not communicating, you tap into the energy of Hermes or Mercury, right? And you tap into that speech, that eloquence, that needing for open communication to express yourself and free your mind, right? What if you tapped into that essence? What if you started listening to Mercury frequency, right? You have like a printout of a caduceus behind you, and you have like all of these elements in your subconscious pointing back towards you that this is what I need to make this process smooth for me, okay? So this is like having a spiritual cheat code, almost like an upper hand, if you really know how to do this and understand this. So I'm sure one of your astrological friends could tell you, like, we're going through this retrograde right now. If you have that in your mind, you can now flip it, man, right? You work with the deities that help you during that time to make the process easier for you. This is the Primal Sutra way. Cold exposure, breathwork, meditation, these are very common ways for mastering the nervous system. There's many other ways to master the nervous system, such as polyvagal tuning. If you type in polyvagal tuning, you will find certain exercises to do. They're very, very powerful for your brain health, specifically during any retrograde stuff, okay? So highly recommend that. Another way of polyvagal tuning is obviously mantras, chanting, humming, things like this, okay? To keep yourself in a very specific vibrational frequency, okay? The Om is a good, safe bet. If things fall apart, glitch, or delay, just understand that it's a part of this recalibration that's happening. Just reframe it as there's just a recalibration of energies happening right now. I just got to zoom out and detach, from these situations in my mind, because the more I give my thoughts and emotions to my past, I stay there. So let go of the need for control right now and trust that there are positive upgrades on the other side of this. Look, you're not meant to have all the answers in a retrograde. You're meant to sit with the questions. Think of it like this is a spiritual debugging phase for you. It's gonna get messy before it gets clear. And when it ends, you will see what is real will remain. It'll stand the test of these things. What a retrograde is sometimes doing is just revealing. It's revealing what's not working. What was never yours to begin with, what was there for you always, right? You will know through these tests of time. Retrogrades don't break you, they break the illusions that you're living with. Handle retrogrades like a Primal Sutra initiate, not like just a regular normie would, okay? Don't do that. Don't take that route. It's horrible. They blame their retrograde for things, right? Oh, I couldn't do it because of Mercury retrograde. You think Mercury gives a shit? It's gonna keep doing its thing. We have to adjust, right? And figure things out from our end, right? This is such a victim mentality thing that, oh, these planets are attacking me, okay? No, they're not. You reclaim your highest sovereignty. You are the shaman, the creator of your own life, okay? Stop constantly putting yourself in the role of like, I am the savior, I am the hero. No, you gotta be the villain sometimes, because the villain is the one with the master plan, right? It's always the hero who's trying to foil that master plan. So I'm not saying choose the hero or the villain. You got to be both, because you got to work with your shadows and your light. And we are the gray mages. We are the ones that can access both and understand both worlds. But I think a huge shift is when you switch from like just having mundane responsibilities, day-to-day chores and stuff like this, to a more of a spiritual leadership, like a spiritual authority. Like when you know, that energy is so powerful, right? That Holy Spirit flowing through you, every crevice and crack of your body notices it. It's Clark Kent becomes Superman, so it is that transformation. And once you can switch between these worlds, these realms, these dimensions, you can bring your metaphysical imagination world, your quantum world, with your waking life. Then you will be a master. Then you will be unstoppable on this path. So angels exist as angles, as different fractals, frequencies, perceptions, perspectives of the light and the source. Angels are thought form entities. They exist as both real beings, but also they're symbolic beings. And they work with the mental plane, okay? Your thoughts. So because they've been energized by our human belief, we can call upon them for guidance if we choose to, okay? Including ascended masters, including any other guides that you want to, okay? Ryan G works more with the darker side of things, you could say the shadow side. We call him a shadow shaman at Primal Sutra. So if you are more interested in that route, definitely reach out to him. So we have both sides to this path working. I'm more so towards this light side that I work with. So if you notice like feathers appearing mysteriously, hearing your name being called, feelings of like a deep present joy that just pervades and takes over your whole beingness, this is chance of an angel encounter, guys. This is a very high likelihood or chance. You know, I say some people, you spend an hour with them and they're like human medicine. You don't need any other medicine. right? Because they are the walking embodiment of health and healing, and they give you that vivacity. So taking on an ascension name, okay, can oftentimes pull you into this higher frequency for protection during this time. So I know there's like a lot of Instagram channels with self-titled, you know, coaches and light workers and stuff like this. I'm the 9th dimensional Arcturian leader, okay, of the 5th dimensional stratosphere. Okay, cool, bro. Awesome, awesome. Now show me your results, okay? That's what I'm saying. So if you choose a name like Ra or El or Ashua, whatever it is, right? Some spiritual name, Buddha, right? If you choose some title like this and you embody it as your higher self and you recognize it as your higher self, right? Like I've chosen this Swamurti of the Makara, which is connecting me to this guardianship, this leader, yang energy, you know, that I can maintain and understand better, okay? I still haven't understood this energy, believe it or not. I'm still beginning to just really understand it. I have a funny feeling it's going to require a lot of sacred scents and journaling, right? Like smelling essential oils and journaling as I'm tuning into those specific smells or frequencies. I noticed that strong smells and scents seem to work very well with higher frequencies. Whereas if you notice you work with lower beings, they don't give a shit. They sometimes smell disgusting, I'll be honest with you, right? Like rotting flesh or like a rotten apple or something like this. They'll smell sort of like that, decrepit, like something gone bad, right? Over time, like they'll smell like that. So this is why you find these lower beings much more in chaotic and like really messy environments, okay? So maybe I intentionally keep my room messy to bring in these lower beings, who knows? Because I want to, I guess, naturally ground and be okay even in their presence, right? So this is a very interesting Sufi method that I have come across to not exactly become more stronger, more strategic, try to fight these beings, but actually remain in your softness. Because remaining in your softness, and if you can stay there in that high frequency of innocence, softness, compassion, even when the world is giving you bullshit, you can actually transmute that energy, right? So this isn't about passive faith. You want to really understand that now that it's a retrograde, I want to tune my wisdom during this time. I want to align with this specific being's energy, okay? It's Venus retrograde, let me work with Aphrodite's energy, you know? Work with Lady Venus and Sanat Kumara. Let me work with Shiva's energy, Jesus's energy, okay? Jesus is also kind of Venus and Jupiter. So step up to your power, okay? Step up to your power. That's the best way to go about a retrograde, is to treat it as a portal. Remember, presence creates portals. I learned this from Janos, okay? Presence creates portals. So anytime you get into deep stillness, flow states, deep presence, you are creating your reality in that moment. You are actually maintaining it. You're keeping that vibration for a solid like 17 seconds or so. It is going to start to formulate and sink back deeper into your unconscious, embed it deeper, right? And then what you do is you take that certain thought or that memory and you put it through all of your childhood memories and like things that you've lived through, and you see it through a fresh pair of eyes, right? And then you bring it back into your current self, right? Like all the old timelines collapse into this one new timeline that you're living now, okay? Now this is a very, very unique kind of way or approach to deal with retrogrades, okay? Not like, you know, make sure you sage your room on Sundays or whatever, you know? This is not that kind of advice, and I get it. Like, honestly, you have to get a good relationship of what is slowing down, and once you understand that, then you can speed that up. You can use that as an ascension lift, right? Like a crane lift, but an ascension lift, and you start to understand how to use the technologies of all of these different energies that went missing, went dormant, in a sense, right? Like imagine a dormant volcano. Still the power is there inside of the volcano, right? So it could at any time, right? But just knowing that and understanding that I'm a volcano, I'm going to erupt. If I hold this in my mind, it will manifest some way or somehow. That certainty and that knowingness will allow you to drop all limiting beliefs. Right? Do you believe in God? No, I know God. I don't need to believe. Belief is of the mind. Okay? There's a deep inner intuition, a knowingness. This is how Carl Jung also responded, right? Because he understood. He understood, man. Let's get it today, Upward Spiral Gang. May we never be the same again. Thank you so much for tapping in, tuning in. Let's win. Let's go.